Pump it up, pump it up. Trae. Come on, come on. Pump it up, pump it up. It's the day with This is the day to gain inspiration, to make a positive change in the nation. We're inviting you to partake in conversation, to raise your vibration. It's the day that we will all celebrate all of our peace that make this thing elevate. Watch the negative fade away, because it's the day with Trae.
Grand Rising, everyone. Welcome to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I want to welcome you to a thankful Thursday. Y'all, I'm really excited because I got Jarvis Henderson in the building, and later on in the show, we're going to be talking about the after-school care program at Rainier Valley Leadership Academy, as well as their kindergarten enrollment. So I'm so glad that he's here joining me to give me all of the details so we can make sure y'all are engaged and informed. But of course, it is the top of the show, so it's the best time right now for you to share this show with others who you feel could benefit from a daily dose of dopeness on the Day with Trae. And you know, if you can't watch our TV show and highly amazing produced video version, don't worry, we definitely have a highly produced audio version for you so you can listen to us anywhere you find your favorite podcast. Just search Converge Media Network in the Day with Trae. You'll find us wherever you find your favorite podcast right now. We're there. Go ahead and look for us. Well, before I get into it with Jarvis, I just want to say, you know, it's always a blessing when you get to experience the greatness within your community because you're a part of it. Yesterday, I talked about how important it is for us to utilize our passion in a multitude of ways. And today, I just want to say that I really appreciate the summertime because it means everybody is doing something. There's events happening almost every single weekend. And definitely throughout the week as well, people find ways to stay connected to their communities. And yes, of course, people take summer vacations, they leave, and all of that. But when we have the sun out in Seattle, the fun is definitely out. And I'm grateful because we have so many amazing people who pour into their communities by doing events, doing collaborations, finding ways to bring services and products out to the community, and keeping us engaged in all of the political actions we need. And trust me, there's a lot. You know, as we are gearing up and ramping up and learning about candidates right now, trying to figure out where our votes are going to go, this is a great time to also be writing to all those candidates who are wanting your vote. Being engaged in the civic process and a part of all of the things that happen to make our society what it is so critical. You know, it's easy to be at home and chill with your favorite show on whatever platform, right? But there's something special about being engaged and actually being an informed voter. You know, here at Converge Media, we always make it a point to talk about voting season. And to be honest, there's opportunities for you to constantly be engaged, no matter what time of year it is or what type of election is happening. And the reason why is because there's all types of situations going on where money is being fueled through your tax dollars into programs that you care about or into areas that you are like, why are we spending so much money there? So trust me, the more we are engaged as citizens, as Washingtonians, the better. And I will say this, sometimes we hit that roadblock where it's like, Yo, there's been a lot, if you're watching the news, which I just don't do, but if you're watching, there's a lot going on. And sometimes that could be burdensome, right? Because there's so many stories that are negative. And this is why you gotta tap into your community media like Converge, because we care about uplifting the positivity in our community and making sure you're connected to that. Of course, the negative stories are there, and we got to deal with those at times, even here as well, because when it impacts us and our community, we care and we want to be there. But we also got to flood you with good, positive energy, keeping all of your amazing dopamine levels up, because it's important for you to be excited about what's going on in your community. So you do want to contribute, right? So take this as a note for you to find your ways to contribute to society and stay engaged in the civic process, because we need you to be informed when you're out there deciding who's going to be leading your city, your community, your state. Make sure you're plugged in. Well, after this short break, y'all, we got Jarvis Henderson coming up next. We're going to be talking all about the amazing after-school program at Rainier Valley Leadership Academy and the exciting news about their kindergarten enrollment, y'all. Stay tuned right after this. You're watching The Day with Trae.
When I had my first child, I didn't really understand the impact of my using until I gave birth to him.
I worked in weapons department in the Navy. That's a work hard, play hard kind of place. It very much became apparent that I had a substance use disorder.
Nobody asked me if I was okay. It was just medications that were thrown at me for so many years.
I had some dental work done, and pain pills were introduced. It flipped a switch that I didn't see or know or understand.
The first time I recovered, my dad was the person, the rock. When he died, I had a severe relapse. It was one of the darkest times in my life, because I had a taste of what recovery could feel like. A lot of shame came in.
And the grief about it was so huge that I would have to drink to deal with what it felt like to be in my body.
I had lost the military career. I didn't have a place to stay. I was out of work. Seemingly overnight, I became a vehicle resident.
And that continued to kind of escalate my use, is being afraid to ask for help.
I tried multiple times to show up and be a parent to those kids, but I couldn't do the minimum. In my mind, they were safer where they were than they were with me.
It does. It takes a village of support. It takes a village of resources.
Getting all the things that kind of made me whole again happened because of the stabilization.
There is no part of my sobriety that would be possible if it wouldn't have been with help from others.
Every one of those people believed in my ability to live differently.
Each one of those people along my journey has contributed to my success.
Don't count us out.
More people recover with support.
Learn how you can help someone's recovery at supportaddictionrecovery.com.
Welcome back, y'all, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now, we got Jarvis in the building. What's up, Jarvis?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm excited to be here. I'm honored to be here. I mean, it's one thing to see you on the screen, but then to be in studio with you is something totally different. So I'm just excited. The whole experience is just, I got to woosah for a moment.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for that. Well, and also thank you for being here. You know, Rainier Valley Leadership Academy is really like a partner here on The Day with Trae. I grew up with Bayon, you know, and honestly, I'm so excited about the things going on there at RVLA. Yeah. My son was there for some time, so I'm always going to be an amazing supporter for y'all. And I'm glad that we're continuing this and always sharing what y'all got going on. Yeah. Before we get into this after school program, I know you're a bit new there, and I want to just talk a little bit about what got you into, you know, getting connected with RVLA.
You know, I really have a passion. I've always had a passion to want to come back home to the state of Washington and give back to the community. Now, I'm a Washingtonian, born and raised, you know, on the playgrounds where I spent most of my day. No, but seriously, I went away I went to an HBCU, went to Bethune-Cookman, and a part of that, my desire was, what can I learn that I can come back home and then start impacting my local community? And so I have a cousin who actually worked at RVLA, and he was over the after school program, and he just, every time we talked, he had so much passion in his voice in talking about the difference that was being made and the things that were happening and helping me understand even what the charter school was all about. And that by itself was enough for me to say, hey, whatever you need, I'm there. If you need me to volunteer, I'm there. And that's how it started. I started volunteering, and then you get in and you start meeting the scholars and you see those people. I've always had a mentality when it comes to working with young people my mentality has been, be to them what I know that I needed when I was their age. Oh. Because a lot of times as adults, we get this mindset that, oh, they'll get it, or they're doing it, or, they're kids, this is what kids do. No, they need someone to be there the same way that we needed someone to be there. So at RVLA, I saw like a space where not only were they encouraging scholars to be their authentic selves, but they were looking for others to come in and say, hey, I'm here to support you. I believe in you, I believe in the program. And that did it for me. Like once I was in there, I got a chance to meet Bayon and the rest of the team. And it's just kind of like when you see that and you see the passion and you hear the passion, and then you see what happens in the hallways and you're connecting with these scholars on different levels, it pushes a button. It did for me, at least. I don't know if there's anyone else who can come in and not have this happen, but it pushed a button on the inside of me that said, this is a place that I need to be. Wow. It's our community, it's our people, it's very diverse, it's an anti-racist, school, so everybody's there. There's a leadership component to it where they're always looking to build the leaders of tomorrow. And then you're in a community environment where it's like, hey, let's take this and help these young leaders be the change that they want to see. Yeah. And so it's really empowering, and that did it for me. Like once you hit those things, those are all my passion buttons, and I'm like, okay, let's get it. Yeah. So what can I do to be a part of this? How can I step in and help? How can I be a voice? How can I help elevate the voices of those that are already there? That's beautiful. So that definitely did it for me, and that's how I ended up in there. So.
Well, I really love this story because I think, you're so right. There's something special that's brewing at RVLA. That is, I love to be able to spotlight it, because when we think about education being such an important node of our society, especially for a young person and their upbringing, no matter how the education comes, when it's centered around authenticity and truth, which a lot of public school education just isn't. RVLA does something special in that it was the first environment that I came across that was intentional about being an anti-racist environment and having a culturally responsive pedagogy that they were pouring into the young people and into the scholars. But it's also a space for families. Talk to us about that family element that exists there at RVLA, because it's not just about the scholars. They really do work to bring families in and make this a community center of learning.
Yes, and so what I would say about that is there is a great level of inviting the families in. You don't necessarily see that at a lot of public schools. Like I can say that I can think of at least 2 instances where I've seen family members sit with scholars throughout the day or just stay in the building and be a part of what's going on. When something happens, it's a conversation of like, hey, would you like me to call your mom? Would you like me to call your dad? Or you've already got mom and dad on speed dial, so it's like, hey, and when that call happens, what I've witnessed is not a call of like, your child is doing this. It's a, hey, is everything going okay with so-and-so? Because, I just noticed that they're having a challenging day today, and we just want to make sure that everything's all right. So opening that door for the family to feel safe, to feel welcome, for the scholar to feel safe, to feel welcome, and then saying, hey, mom, dad, we want you to be a part of this. Because what we do as a team in RVLA is it's all about like not letting anybody slip through the cracks. Presidents have said in the past, no child left behind, right? Schools I've seen, and I was a part of the public school system. You can hear them say no child left behind, but do they really mean no child left behind? No, I've witnessed and been a part of the environment that's there, the culture that's at RVLA, where it's community-based, it's a family, and that family feel doesn't leave when the scholars leave. It's there even now. Like we're in summer, getting ready for this summer program, but we're still communicating with each other. We're spending time with each other. There's gonna come a time where we're gonna commune with each other and decide, okay, how do we function and flow in this next year? We make decisions together. There's nothing that I've seen happen within the 4 walls of that school where they've ostracized a scholar, where they've singled anybody out, where they've cut somebody at the knees or tried to like blackball somebody, you know, I mean, just for the lack of another term to use. I've always seen where it's been a collaborative effort to say, hey, this is one of ours. How do we help them?
You know, that's the level of support I definitely felt as a parent there. And that was one of the things that, you know, drew me in and also allowed me to stay connected and committed to being a supporter, right? You know, the charter schools have, the onus is on them to like expand their offerings, to bring it out into community. And so to offer an after school program, that is a level of advocacy that has to happen, a level of like parents getting together, letters being written, people expressing their experiences so that people actually understand, wait a minute, this is a viable option for this institution to take on. Tell us about some of the things you're excited for when it comes to the after school program.
You know, you hear after school program and you think it's just like the Babysitter's Club almost, right? I have never seen an after school program like the one that I'm a part of at RVLA and had the joy and the pleasure of helping to coordinate things for it. Everything that we've done has been to empower the scholars, right? So we did a trip to Microsoft. We did a few trips to Microsoft, but we went to Blacks in Microsoft. So you're giving them an opportunity to see what's available. Another trip to Microsoft was not just seeing what's available, what are the jobs and the internships you can get? It's all about exposure. How can I expose you to the opportunities that you have? We've done internships. We have a few partnerships like ABC and Deacon Construction. We did a partnership with them, had an amazing turnout for that. We had the Tubman Freedom Clinic. So there was a partnership we did with them and UW Medicine where they came out and they did an internship with our scholars. And I sat in on some of those things. Like, it's one thing to put it together, but when you sit in there and you listen to the scholars and you hear how they're in tune to what's happening and they're developing, and there are those that walk away from these internships or these opportunities that we open up for them and they say like, man, I never knew that I was into that. I'm excited, because it's all about exposure. And that's something that we do with the after school program. Everything that we've put together is exposing them, whether it's the kickboxing class that we put together. We have STEM TAC, which is they focus on STEM learning. They come in, they tutor the scholars on certain days during the week, and they also spend time just helping scholars develop. They're gonna be with us in the summer program as well. We have locally the breakfast group that we work with, Dr. Carter and the crew. They come through, they give us a lot of support. There's so many things that I can think of, even having some of the doctoral students come over from University of Washington to come and sit with our scholars. They helped us put together our first ever yearbook. Like, that was exciting. The first ever yearbook that they ever had, and watching them go around and just that camaraderie that's built and the things that they're doing, the excitement behind it, that's theirs. They put it together. And then we also had a space this past year where we were showing them how to properly use social media. Like, you know, there's a proper way to do it where you're safe. So there were those things that were in there, but there's the thing that people tend to look over when we mention after school program at RVLA, and that's Rainier Valley Leadership Academy. When we talk about our after school program, it's not just after school. Like, I show up daily at about 9 o'clock and I'm there throughout the day, you know, and then being there throughout the day, we're developing programs that are gonna intentionally expose our scholars to what's available for them. You know, too many times we hear people say, well, it's there for you, it's there for you. You know, again, product of a public school. I went to a guidance counselor that told me I needed to attend a tech school or maybe a trade school. Wasn't telling me that I could go to a 4-year institution. That was the last time I went to see that woman. I won't say her name because I'm pretty sure somebody will know her because we're in Washington. But the fact of the matter is, don't kill my dream. Where RVLA is a school that we empower our scholars to dream, and that after school program says, not only are we gonna empower you to dream, we're going to take you to be a part of the things that you say you're dreaming about. And it's the joy of watching them as they get involved, whether it's a field trip or just an event, just seeing them put their hands on it and bring it to fruition, and then watching them display these emotions of gratitude. You know, scholars have different ways of showing it. A 6th grader is gonna be different than a senior. But at the end of the day, they all have the joy of saying, hey, I was able to do this. This was my work. And they display it to each other. So
it's so special, because you're absolutely right. You know, being in that environment, you know, we talked about the importance of pouring into the youth just earlier this week, and the ideas around what that looks like I talked about the awe, just the awe of young people. And when you do expose them, this was a part of my parenting, like my whole parenting, my own structure for my kids was like, I want to say parenting plan, but then I'm like, not court-ordered parenting plan, but just like my own idea of, let me give you all of the experiences I can so you can gravitate to the things that you really love, right? You won't know if you love something until you experience it. So exposure was huge for me. But it's also like I got exposed to a lot as a young person. And I was able to hone early in my, young, childhood. I was able to hone in on some things that are still bringing me to where I am today, right? And so this idea that it's beyond just an after-school program, and it's really, focusing on how young people can get different types of experiences as they grow is so important, because there's so much more learning outside of the classroom. And I love that RVLA understands that learning can happen in so many different wide varieties. But it takes me to, the fact that they also understood, look, we have to open this up to elementary school, and it starts with kindergarten, right? And every year they want to build on that. But now y'all have the kindergarten enrollment open. This is exciting because there's a lot of community members and different parents like myself who were the ones saying, this is a need in our community and it needs to be there at RVLA. Tell us more about this enrollment.
We're excited about this. This is like the buzz in the hallways right now. And it's because it's an opportunity to get our scholars at grassroots. We're opening a pathway to success that probably hasn't been there before. The joy of being at a charter school is that we have more control over our curriculum, right? So in picking the right curriculum and educating our scholars the right way, one of the things that rings out in my mind, as long as I can remember, my mother always told me I was destined for greatness from a child. I had no idea what it meant walking out to school, going to school in kindergarten. My mom, son, go out there, you be great today. You're destined for greatness. I have no idea what it means. But when the teacher tells me I can't do something, I'm destined for greatness. You got your tool with it. The reason I bring that up is because with us preparing for our kindergartners, that's the mentality of us as a school. We've had plenty of conversations of like, how do we set this up properly for our babies? And we're already saying our babies. It's not saying those that are coming, no, our babies, because we're a community. It takes a village to raise a child. So planting those seeds and setting that platform, getting that foundation solid and strong at a young age, and then helping them navigate. Like I personally look forward to seeing the kindergarten class be the first kindergarten class to be the senior graduating class that did all 12 years at RVLA. And so it's an exciting thing. So I would say, like, parents, if you're looking for a place that you want to root your children in, bring them to RVLA. We are ready for them. I feel like Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. We ready. We coming. We already we coming.
Yeah, this is exciting because my son did like an alternative learning environment until fourth grade. Actually, halfway through fourth grade, he just in January of this year went to public school, and he thrived in public school. He's doing great, and I'm glad that he's in a school where they are doing all these different types of learning. But I will say that there's nothing, I could have never had him at the start at public school. And I knew that then. And I'm so glad to see this because there's so many parents who are in need and yet don't have the funds to do some of these alternative options where you have to pay out of pocket, right? Right. And I know that was our experience. Like, okay, we're paying out of pocket, but it was so worth it. And I still brag about his learning experience. And, Miss Catrice Dennis, shout out to you and Teaching with Love and Care because they're phenomenal. But I will say, like, RVLA, starting with the young scholars and getting them at that age, when you just said having them graduate, the first graduating class of the kids who stayed with RVLA for all their school, is something special to be able to witness in community. And you mentioned something even with your own journey of like learning, going out there learning and bringing the information back into the community, which is brilliant. And we need more of that. But that means that those anchors have to be set in community at a young age.
Yes.
They have to know that there is a place for them and their brilliance to thrive
Yes.
in their community when they choose to come back here, especially when you go to HBCU, because you're surrounded by brilliant blackness.
Yes.
And if you don't know that you can come back to brilliant blackness, it's not necessarily the first thing you may want to do, right?
Right.
They can't always be monetarily driven. So I appreciate you bringing your brilliance to RVLA and being an amazing mentor and a shining light for all of those young scholars to see that they too can do this. I got to give you the time, because if folks are trying to register their kids, that they need, access and want to tap in and maybe bring their brilliance and do some volunteering, look right there, let them know how they plug into RVLA.
Well, I will tell you this, go to myrvla.org, myrvla.org, and that is where you can register your child for school. We have the summer program that is going on right now. Well, it's actually starting next week. So we have the summer program that's going to be starting on the 8th of August. And it's all going to be focused on developing and exposing and empowering our scholars. It is actually SOS, the Summer of Scholar Empowerment. And you can get involved with that also by going to the website. But if you don't see the right information that you're looking for on the website, just go ahead, send an email to A as in alpha, S as in Sam, P as in program. So after school program, ASP at myrvla.org. And that will come to myself and our team, and we will make sure we get you the right information. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to pay for any of the stuff that we do at RVLA. We cover that cost because it is community-centered, and we want to make sure that we are here for our community, and that means we're here for you. So go ahead, get online right now, myrvla.org, and start searching around. Register, get your scholars involved. We can't wait to see you and have them there.
Wow. Jarvis, thank you so much for coming and making sure we were aware of all the great work going on there.
Like I said, it's an honor to be here. So
absolutely.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, y'all. This is so great. We've been in partnership with RVLA from the beginning because I was already there. And I said, look, I'm going to make sure that anytime we can, we are elevating the work happening there because these opportunities are needed in our community. So I'm so grateful to RVLA for stepping up to the plate. Y'all know I'm going to wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.
Hey, it's your girl, Carolina Sanchez, and The Nightcap is the late night show where no topic is off limits. Join me as we dive into the wild world of relationships, sex, and everything in between. From hilarious dating disasters to steamy secrets, you know we've got it all. We've got celebrity guests, expert advice, and a cocktail in hand. The Nightcap is your guilty pleasure. So grab your drink and tune in because the best stories start after dark.
The Nightcap. New episodes weeknights at 11 or stream anytime on Fox Soul.
Empowering the community one connection at a time. ConnectWA is your partner in finding the support you need. Download the app today and experience the difference that a connected community can make. Learn more at eec-wa.org/ConnectWA-app. In Seattle, it's more than just coffee. It's community. At the station, we brew more than just your favorite cup. We brew connection. From Beacon Hill to Columbia City, we're a space for artists, activists, and everyone in between. A place to gather, create, and simply be. Whether you need a quiet place to work, a lively spot to meet friends, or just a moment to unwind, find your place at the station. More than coffee, it's home. Visit us in Beacon Hill or Columbia City. The Station, where community happens. Black caregivers, entrepreneurs, and elders, this one's for you. Queen Care is offering complimentary self-care services to those who give so much to their communities. Take a moment to restore, recharge, and be cared for with free wellness treatments at the Spa House by Queen Care. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Go to queencareproducts.com now to sign up or scan the QR code on your screen because you deserve the same care you give to others.
Welcome back, everyone, to The Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. I'm so excited, y'all. Gotta give a huge shout out to my guest, Jarvis, for being in the building. I'm telling you, not only is it inspiring to hear a story of someone who went out, sought out in his own brilliance, explored his own brilliance, and brought it all back to the community to work with young people. Y'all, it's amazing because I'm telling you, we need more folks like that in our community who understand the value of being an example in our communities of what it looks like to achieve goals, to be steadfast in them, to stay committed to the brilliance and building up the brilliance in our community. It's beautiful. You know, I'm also excited because RVLA has been such a staple in the community by providing this amazing, you know, anti-Black and, you know, all of the anti-racism pedagogy that they do. Ooh. I mean, this is an amazing institution. So if you don't know about them, make sure you look them up. If you have a young person who needs to do something this summer and they fit within the parameters, man, sign them up. You know, make sure that they get there, because honestly, this is an opportunity for a young person to be engaged, involved, and excited about what's going on in their community through what RVLA is offering you. And to top it off, it's all free. What? All of these summer programs, most of them cost money. I said all, but then I had to say most because RVLA doesn't, right? And it's a great time for your children to get plugged into the community that's gonna pour into them. You know, so I'm excited, y'all, and I'm definitely inspired. I want you to be inspired because as Jarvis is doing, you can figure it out. He started as a volunteer. It's an amazing, inspiring story to get you to be encouraged, because maybe there's a place that you can volunteer where you can pour your brilliance into some other folks, and especially into the young people. Y'all, be inspired. You can be a part of the solution too. I know you can. And that's it for me today, y'all. But you know I'll be back tomorrow. And until then, at 11 a.m., y'all. Peace. Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.